Trumpets, and we'll have to do with the Grand Work, the main ancient conspiracy that's been referenced in many ways with many different symbols. Future awesome deep dive on some symbols coming up. Without interruption, right into a bunch of episodes in a row of the main thread of the Grand Work scheme, the Antichrist re-emerging, and all these secretive things that have been done to facilitate this, leading into modern day technology and into the future. Let's take a conspiracy theory tour of the galaxy. Let's snoop around and see what we can find. Turn on the space music, Alf. Time for flight. This all-for entertainment conspiracy tour operates on the totally fictional premise that NASA's full of it. Also, we won't be stopping at cosmics, but do intend to make it to the Golden Arches. Firmament segue. I've always loved the idea of space and galaxy art, but I also love the exhilaration of spiritual mysteries being revealed. Either way, whatever you believe about what's above, the signs in the heavens surely mean something. Let's explore the recent cosmos and take a look. Wonder if we'll see the mysterious Mach 3 speed super high altitude Blackbird, or SpaceX's new rocket design, because they're going to do it again. Anyway, NASA say they're going back to the moon. I always love going back to places I've never been to. Good time to smash a moon pie, because NASA's set to land again to celebrate their 50-year anniversary to Apollo. Since Apollo. Anyway, they're going back on January 25th because CGI is mad better now and new narrative needs to be solidified. Hopefully it looks nothing like India's recent moon landing footage though. Also, Artemis 3 in 2025. Artemis is the twin sister of Apollo/Nimrod. Maybe this is a ritual to... Speaking of the moon, scientists say a fake moon has been following us since 100 BC. This is a rare quasi-moon. Certain asteroids have been observed to do this, but only for a few decades at max. This quasi-moon's been there your whole life, and some. Anyway, more esoteric secrets of the moon coming up in a future episode. Way beyond the basic repeating of where's the moon over and over for like 3 minutes straight while... Anyway, we've reached our first site on today's tour. If you look, you'll see these city-sized lighthouses. The same way ships use lighthouses for navigation, future space travel will use these pulsars for GPS. When they're doing things like this tour, I guess. Captured by the Fermi Gamma Ray Telescope, nearly 300 unique neutron stars have been found rapidly spinning, emitting light from their poles. These powerful beams are what they're going to use to navigate. Fermi, by the way, is named after the Fermi Paradox, which is all about looking for alien life. Better than being named after Lucifer like the Vatican one, though. What are they really looking for? Signs of a certain return? One they're building an army to fight against? One that the whole world will be united under, Reagan style, to fight a common enemy? That coming from the sky enemy? Don't worry, we won't need pulsars for GPS. We're connected to the cosmic frequency. For example, a new solar system has been found inside the Milky Way, discovered by stunned astronomers, calling it a moving cosmic orchestra. They're in perfect synchronous orbit with each other. Very unique and orderly. Imagine the sacred geometry they would make. Imagine the song of the frequency they make. I wonder who they're singing to. Speaking of heavenly entities, out the spaceship window, you'll get a close-up view of the star angel Spica smiling at you. And this has not been edited at all. It's a screenshot that I took myself from home astronomer footage. Fool around with different stars. They all look different. Pretty interesting. Pareidolia aside, might be something there. Moving on, you can see this rare luminous event that astronauts saw, red sprites. We know what the scientific community theorizes these things are. What do any of you spiritualists think about these things? Interesting with the sprite spirit tie-in as well. Also, at highest levels, I theorize that they know the truth about what a lot of these things are and deceive. But on most levels, and pretty much every level below that, it's just textbook parroting. Moving on from deception in Hebrew, NASA, the serpentine forked tongue logo, T-minus anagram to Satan, ancient Babylonian priesthood. I gotta get it together. Everybody get a quick drink here at this exclusive space cafe. And remember this high IQ tip of the day before finishing the tour. Information can be manipulated, but true spiritual discernment cannot. That's why we were tricked originally to trade our true spiritual nature and discernment for a lower form of intellect. This intellect would lead to people only ever believing a manipulated, always changing fact faith. Faith in facts that change, but truth never changes. If you're relying only on academics, then you've fallen into the trap of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Quick example, men spent their whole lives on the theory of evolution, quoting and parroting. Now, tons of scientists have been gathering, demanding a new theory, because evolution just isn't satisfying them. This always happens. It changes every couple generations, because that's as long as the deception will last. And then a new form of remarketing, Edward Bernays style, needs to happen. But the truth never changes. And fake facts can't bypass true spiritual discernment. That's why there's such a war to take it from everybody, and keep everybody dull and dumbed down. But you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Now back to the tour. Han and Chewie are going to take over and do their parsec run for the rest of the tour. While you were sipping your drink at the Space Cafe, you may have noticed Saturn's rings. Maybe your last chance to see him. That mysterious wandering star with many moons orbiting it. Wonder if that's a perfect picture of Satan with his many world religions orbiting around him, in his many disguises. And at the core is the cult of Saturn. Quick random note, Cult of Saturn is also tied into the Tower of Sauron, with the Saturnian reptilian eye at the top. It all keeps tying in all this stuff we're covering. Speaking of towers and Nimrod worship, the constellation Orion is about to have a rare phenomena on December 11th. One of the stars, Betelgeuse, will be eclipsed by what they think is an asteroid. If you've already missed it, that's okay, because just knowing that stars could be eclipsed by asteroids is something you probably didn't know. This asteroid occulting Betelgeuse will only last a few seconds, and is only visible from certain places. It's not known whether it will be a full eclipse or ring of fire style. Cool night to have a telescope. Speaking of Orion, I just did a really cool breakdown you can find on my page. So we'll move on, other than showing you Orion and his gang real quick. Well, Han seems to have gotten us into a quandary. After being egged on by Chewie, he seems to have gotten lured into racing the new Space Force super secretive plane. This space plane has a classified portion, as well as the non. Experiments more shrouded in mystery, including what Space Force referred to in its statement as experimenting with space domain awareness technologies. They sure are looking hard and getting ready. By the way, discerning the truth of all these versions of science is an interesting science in itself. One thing's for sure, no leaders have ever had contact with any entities, ever. Speaking of not getting the alien Illuminati abduction card, remember the infamous last words of Nazi NASA founder Wernher von Braun about the world agenda and the last card being the alien card. About space-based weapons against aliens, but it would all be a lie. And when that final card gets played on the world stage, well. Also, Wernher von Braun has a really interesting relationship with Walt Disney. Basically best friends, which you can see their camaraderie in this picture. What's really interesting is how Walt Disney was interested in all this stuff. Now look at the Disney logo. Look at the dome. Does that look like a bunch of rocket ships with one of them making it through the firmament? The Disney Dome logo sigil, along with their 3 6s, cryo-encrypted Walt Disney with the secret tunnels beneath. All symbolic of that ultimate Nimrod achievement being realized one day. But von Braun left us a clue on his tombstone. Psalms 19:1. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament declare the work of his hands. Secret last clue to the world. As the tour concludes, combine Space Force X with the last alien card. Do we have an army to fight against the Messiah, alien style? One thing's for sure, the rich, powerful, and elite are all watching the signs and symbols in the heavens, and you should be too. Free series on the Mazzaroth, and angels coming up. Closing on the Golden Arches with this picture of Orion joining the heavenly gates, which is probably fake. Which again, you're going to have to exercise your spiritual discernment in what you take for source. But don't worry, the authentic heavenly city will be way much more glorious anyway. Which gate of pearl will you enter through? Keep your eyes to the heavens, but don't get too spaced out. See you next time. We're going to add another layer to the Mark of the Beast, Bismillah connection that you see right here. In Greek, these symbols Chi, Xi, Sigma look exactly like the Bismillah. The layer we're going to add is, if you put a mirror to it, what word does that really look like? The same word that you've seen in The Lion King and other Disney productions, and also the same word that you've seen in the 2015 from their own website, NASA Globe Edition. You see the word right there. What are they really flashing, that word or the Mark of the Beast? I'm going to walk you through some weird connections, from Disney being known to do this plus their 666 logo, to NASA, their logo being an anagram for Satan with the forked-tongued serpent for the T. Also, NASA means to deceive. NASA included Hitler Nazi scientists, plus there's this weird connection with Jack Parsons and sex, magic, and rockets. It was also tied into Aleister Crowley and this whole Disney, rocket, NASA relationship with the occult in a weird way. Look at the Disney logo again. You see the dome and you see rockets penetrating through the dome. Also, Walt Disney and Wernher von Braun were like best friends, basically. They were all into this weird occultic theme. And it's all aimed particularly at one demographic, the little ones. Hollywood always casting their witch wand, and they seem to be putting this Mark of the Beast, along with tons of other things, in lots of movies. Check out this clip. It's a regular conversation, no riddle going on. See what I found.
His parents didn't barely even know where he's alive. When he was 6, his father lost him at a fun fair. It took him 22 minutes to realize. Their house was hardly ever clean because his mother spent most of her time having 3 affairs. Dad had no idea.
It just sounded very unnatural when I heard it. Then I thought 6, 22, and 3. That's 6, 22 times 3, it's 66. And it's not the first time they did something like this in this movie either. Why put it in here? Hollywood does it a lot. Hollywood is also given scripts by the CIA. Lots of psyops involved, along with occultic symbolism. And I can't even tell you where the CIA gets their scripts from. It's because symbols say a lot and speak on a subconscious level that surpasses the brain. There's more in this one movie here, The Portable Door, like this interesting shield symbol we're going to look at for a second. Not only is that angle there the angle of 3 hexagons, which is 666, but let's compare it to these other things and see if we can find a pattern. We have the Seal of Solomon from the Grimoire, and this other shield, which is from the Air Force from a project planned to detonate a nuke on the moon. Also, we have this one particular emoji, as well as the devil tongue. Check out the pattern. Look at the eyes, one closed, one open. Check out the thing coming below the mouth shape, the tongue. Look at the tower always ascending in the middle, and look at a line through the middle. All of this is the occultic, faux Seal of Solomon, Grimoire version, Mark of the Beast references. Seems like a lot of higher-ups are really into this. Moving on, another double-speak cipher like I mentioned before involved the numbers 15, 13, and 5, which when you add them up are 33, paying reference to Freemasonry. Just so happens to have square and compass in the background and all throughout the movie. Also, Disney was a Freemason, and Freemasonry at the highest levels acknowledged Lucifer as their god, and even Manly P. Hall acknowledged this in his book. Probably why the conglomeration of all these higher-ups and occultic weirdos and companies all have the 666 Mark of the Beast subliminal mega pumping, along with grimoire seals, upside-down crosses all throughout. What kind of portable door are you really trying to open? Third eye joint, demon and flesh, devil-worshipping reptilian. So the real question is, with all these connections, are they subliminally advertising sex or the Mark of the Beast? Or both, since they're kind of all connected anyway in this weird conglomeration of occultic supervillain plan. Which in close brings us to the final question we're going to address next time. Who and what is Apollo? And why and how is he the common link to everything we just talked about? Plus why are Disney, NASA, and AI robotics all naming their products Apollo after him? Nimrod, all finally tying in with the 666 logo CERN and this fascinating Antichrist Mark of the Beast future emergence plans we're going to continue to investigate. See you next time.